Have you ever been there, just stuck at a crossroads, wishing you could just get a straight yes or no, cut through all the confusion? Or maybe you're just hunting for a way to grasp something complicated without, drowning in details. Well, if that sounds familiar, you're definitely in the right spot today. We are doing a deep dive into something really fascinating and honestly pretty direct: the Horóscopuvelin and the Oraklebelin card. Now, you've probably heard of tarot cards, right?
Yeah.
But these are a whole different system, really designed to give you sharp insights.
That's exactly it. And our mission today really is to unpack how they manage that. How do they give such direct answers? We'll get into their history, which is quite intriguing to look at what makes them stand out from, say, tarot or other tools. We'll also touch on the meanings of a few key cards, and maybe most importantly, explore how you can actually use them yourself, to get that clarity and direction, whether you're totally new to this stuff or you've been using divination tools for ages. What's really cool here is how they kind of bridge that old wisdom with very modern practical use.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. We've gathered some fantastic sources, everything from detailed card meanings, historical background, even some user guides. So let's pull back the curtain and dive right in. Okay, so where do these cards even come from? Let's start there with the origin story. It seems the original Oraklebelin cards go way back to 1845, created by a French diviner known as Edmond. His full name was Jules Charles Ernest Billaudot. So yeah, these aren't exactly New Age creations. They've got some history.
Definitely. And it's interesting how the original deck, the Oraklebelin, has kind of shifted over time. The Horóscopuvelin deck, which is maybe more common now, is really a modern take, reinterpreted by Grimaud, now sold by France Carte. But what's crucial is their roots. They're built on older systems, like the Marseille and Entaya cards, so there's a real lineage there.
Right, not just pulled out of thin air. Now, most people think tarot when they hear divination cards. 78 cards, major, minor arcana. But the Belin cards, they're structured differently, aren't they?
Oh yeah, completely different setup. The original Oraklebelin, it has 53 cards. Within that, you've got 49 cards tied directly to the 7 planets. So 7 cards for each planet, plus 4 standalone cards.
Okay, 7 planets, 7 cards each. And the Horóscopuvelin, is it the same?
Pretty similar. The Horóscopuvelin usually has 52 cards. It keeps those 49 planetary cards. But then it adds 3 really distinct cards. Card 1, male thought. Card 2, female thought, and card 3, destiny.
And sometimes there's that extra one too, right? The 53rd card?
That's right. Often it's called the blue card or maybe an amulet card, generally seen as good luck or maybe a spare if you lose one, usually interpreted positively.
So overall, a smaller, maybe more focused deck than traditional tarot.
Exactly. And that structure difference leads to something really important, especially between the old and new versions. You see, the original Oraklebelin cards, they actually show the symbols of the 7 planets right there on the card face.
Ah, okay. Visual cues.
Right. But the modernized Horóscopuvelin cards, they don't have those symbols printed on them.
Interesting. So what does that mean for reading them?
Well, it means that if you're using the Horóscopuvelin, you really need to have some grasp of classical astrology. You need to know what the sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn actually represent. And yeah, astrologically, the moon functions like a planet here.
Gotcha. So the modern deck looks simpler, maybe cleaner without the symbols, but it actually asks more of the reader in terms of background knowledge.
Precisely. It's like they streamline the visuals, but that puts the onus on you to know the underlying astrological framework. It's not just picture reading.
That's a really key distinction. So it demands a bit more homework, you could say. Yet despite that, these cards are known for being incredibly direct, aren't they? Like giving clear yes or no answers.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest selling points, I think. They often cut through ambiguity in a way other systems might not, which makes them great either as a main deck for quick answers or even as a sort of clarifier deck alongside tarot.
Okay, so how does that directness actually work in a reading? You mentioned it's not just simple picture reading. This is where it gets really interesting, right? The mechanics of interpretation.
Exactly. There's a kind of internal logic. A basic rule is that positive cards can actually soften or even neutralize negative ones nearby.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you draw card 5, which is elevation sounds good, right?
No.
And it lands next to card 51, decline, which sounds bad. In that combo, the elevation card suggests you're actually moving past the anxiety represented by decline. You're heading towards improvement. So the message becomes, don't worry too much.
Okay, so one good card can kind of cancel out a bad one, or at least change its impact.
Right. But, and this is important, it works the other way too. If that same positive elevation card shows up, but this time it's surrounded by 2 strong negative cards, say decline and death, card 49, then the whole vibe flips. The weight of the 2 negative cards can overpower the single positive one. In that case, the reading would likely suggest there is something significant to be concerned about.
Wow, okay, so it's not just simple addition or subtraction. It's about the overall energy balance in the spread.
Exactly. It's about the interplay. It kind of forces you to look at the whole picture, not just isolated cards. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It suggests the directness isn't just bluntness. It comes from this specific interaction. So let's dive into some of those specific cards. The first few in the Horóscopuvelin deck seem pretty foundational.
They really are. They set the stage.
Okay, first up, card 1, Male thought. You said it's neutral, a key card. What's the core idea?
It represents focused masculine energy or thought. If the person asking the question, the querent, is male, it often points to his own strong intentions, maybe even overthinking. If the querent is female, it usually signifies an important man in her situation, could be a partner, father, boss, son, or simply a man she's heavily focused on.
And the image, what does that tell us?
Visually, you see a man looking quite determined, resolute. There's often a bright star and a dark sky behind him. It speaks to strong will, firm resolve.
So the advice might be to tap into that focused willpower, or to recognize that strong male energy influencing things.
Pretty much. Adopt a strong perspective, or understand the male influence at play.
Okay, and following that, logically, is card 2, female thought, also neutral.
Yes, also neutral. It mirrors the male thought card, but for feminine energy. For a female querent, it's about her own thoughts, her internal world. For a male querent, it points towards a key woman, mother, wife, daughter, girlfriend.
And the feel is different from the male thought card.
Definitely. The woman usually has a softer expression, maybe gazing gently at a star that seems closer, more accessible than the one in the male card. So the guidance here is often about approaching things with more nuance, a gentler perspective, maybe more intuition, different energy, different approach.
Interesting how they differentiate the thought process. Okay, next is card 3, destiny. You said this one is positive.
Very positive, usually. It literally shows a door, the door of destiny. It's a powerful card. It really emphasizes the direction things are heading based on the cards around it. It can act like an open gateway or sometimes temporarily a block if the other cards are really negative.
So new beginnings, big changes.
Absolutely. It can signal a whole new chapter starting, personal transformation, a new direction in life, even practical things like big decisions, buying or selling something. It's got high energy, almost like a major arcana card in tarot. Generally, it encourages you to be proactive, especially in relationships or areas where you want progress.
Like a green light, almost. Step forward.
Exactly. It's very similar to the key card in the original Oracle-Belin deck. It signifies opportunity, or that a key decision needs to be made. The path is opening up.
The path is opening up. I like that. And then we have card 4, flower, also positive.
Yes, another really positive one. Astrologically, this card is linked to the sun.
Ah, the sun. So brightness, life.
Precisely. It depicts a blooming flower representing new beginnings, hope blossoming, maybe faded choices unfolding. It's especially good for relationships. Think affection starting, attachment growing.
And because it's linked to the sun, does that give it extra weight?
It does. Like the sun itself, this card tends to strengthen or really influence the meaning of the cards surrounding it. It acts like an amplifier.
Okay, so how does that amplification work?
Well, for example, if you get flower next to death, card 49, the sun's energy might amplify the finality, suggesting a significant, perhaps destructive end. But put flower next to, say, devil, card 14, and it might intensify the temptation aspect.
Okay. But with another positive card.
Right. Flower with appeasement, card 25, for instance, would strongly signal a peaceful time, recovery, real tranquility. The sun amplifies the peace.
So it's powerful, but its effect really depends on the context of the other cards.
Exactly. It shows how these cards really talk to each other, which brings us nicely to actually using them.
Right, the practical side. How do you actually work with these cards?
Well, this is where it gets kind of personal. The Belin cards aren't just, any old tool you pick up. There are specific guidelines. They seem to emphasize respect for the cards and ensuring accuracy. It's fascinating how they're meant to integrate with your own energy.
Okay, so what are some of these key rules? You mentioned personal.
Yeah, that's number one. These cards are seen as deeply personal. The idea is that their unique vibe or waves get attuned to you, the owner. So lending them out, generally not recommended. If someone else has to touch them, it really should only be when you're right there with them.
Interesting. Almost like they're extensions of your own intuition. What about timing? Does it matter when you use them?
They say you can use them anytime, but for potentially better results, the afternoon, maybe 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. is often suggested. And some people find using them on their own birthday or even at the specific time they were born can boost the accuracy, kind of tuning into your personal cycle.
And the environment. I assume quiet is good.
Definitely. Find a quiet spot where you won't be disturbed, where you can really concentrate. That focus is key.
Makes sense. How about the actual handling, shuffling, laying them out?
The traditional way is to hold the deck in your left hand and shuffle with your right. While you shuffle, you really focus on your question. Then you cut the deck, also with your left hand. When you lay out the cards for a spread, you generally place them down from right to left.
Right to left. Okay. And after the reading?
Put them away immediately, back in their case or box, and keep them somewhere private and dry. Treat them with care.
Got it. Now, what if you do a reading and the answers seem off? Or just confusing?
Ah, yes. The guides mention this. Sometimes the cards might seem to give strange answers or just feel unclear, like they're refusing to speak.
Refusing to speak, really?
That's the phrase sometimes used. If that happens, the advice is maybe try a different spread first. If it's still muddy, maybe just try again on a different day. It's like respecting that sometimes the connection isn't clear.
Wow, that really gives them a sense of personality almost.
doesn't it? But on the flip side, despite these rituals, their interpretation, especially for beginners, can be quite straightforward.
How so?
Because the individual card meanings are often very direct. You can often just combine keywords. Like if you get a card meaning passion and another meaning start right next to each other, you can often just read that as a passionate start. It suggests energetic activity, a good launch.
So it simplifies the blending of meanings.
To an extent, yes, which is helpful. But it also raises that question again, doesn't it? Does that simplicity maybe risk missing deeper layers? Or does it actually push you to ask much clearer, more direct questions in the first place?
That's a great point. Maybe the direct answers come because you're forced to ask direct questions, which is a skill in itself.
Exactly.
So, assuming you have your question ready, how do you lay them out? Are there specific spreads, like in tarot?
Oh, yes. The Belin system comes with its own set of spread methods, often detailed in the original guides. These aren't just for one-card pulls. You can do full readings.
Okay, like what are some examples?
Well, there's one called the 8-8 spread. It sounds complex, but it's basically for breaking down a situation. You end up selecting 24 cards and arranging them into 8 little piles of 3 cards each. You set a specific question for each pile.
8 questions, 8 answers. Got it.
Then there's the free will spread. This one's pretty unique. It actually lets you customize the deck before you shuffle. If you're asking about, say, your health, you could choose to temporarily remove cards that seem totally irrelevant, like ones about legal stuff.
Oh, interesting. So you tailor the deck first.
Right. Then you shuffle the remaining cards, fan them out, and pick 5. Read them right to left. It really focuses the reading.
Cool.
What else? For a really broad overview, there's the Zodiac-based wish spread. This uses 48 cards. You lay them out in 12 piles of 4 cards each, and each pile corresponds to one of the 12 houses of the Zodiac. General fortune, money, health, relationships, career, travel, all that stuff.
Like a map of your life related to your question.
Exactly. You focus on your wish or question as you pick the piles.
Okay, that sounds comprehensive. Are there any for more advanced users?
Yes. If you happen to own both the original Oracle Belin and the modern Horoscope Belin, there's the twin spread.
Using both decks together.
You draw 8 cards from each deck and layer them, making 8 piles with 2 cards each, 1 oracle, 1 horoscope. If the 2 cards in a pile agree, the meaning is considered really strong, fundamental.
Yeah.
If they clash, you might draw more cards to get clarity. It adds another dimension.
Wow, that's intricate. Any other unusual ones?
Well, there's one that's kind of surprising, the numerical or 3 winning streak spread. Apparently, it was originally designed for people asking about gambling, like horse races.
Really? Gambling?
Yeah, but they say it doesn't lessen the card's spiritual value. Basically, you'd select cards numbered corresponding to the number of participants, say horses 1 through 30. You shuffle just those numbered cards, lay them out, pick 3, note their numbers, repeat the whole process 2 more times. You then look for numbers that consistently pop up across the 3 draws. If the patterns are all over the place, it suggests the odds aren't great.
Huh. That really shows their versatility, I guess. Pinpointing specific info.
It does. It highlights their potential for very focused inquiries.
Okay, wow. So we've really covered a lot of ground here. From the history of these Belin cards back in 1845 to how they're different from tarot, the importance of the planets even when they're not pictured, and how those positive and negative cards interact to give those famously direct answers. Plus, all the practical ways you can actually use them. The spreads, the handling. It's quite a system designed for quick insights, seems like, without getting too lost in the weeds.
Absolutely. Whether it's that clear yes-no quality or the interesting way they blend in astrological ideas, the Belin cards really do offer a unique way to gain understanding. And, connecting it back, it's a reminder that deep insights don't always have to be complicated. Knowledge can be profound and accessible.
That's a really powerful takeaway. Profound and accessible. And it leaves me thinking, maybe leaves you thinking, how might using a tool like one that encourages and gives direct feedback actually sharpen our own thinking? Does needing to ask a direct question help us define what we really want to know? What stands out to why you about getting such direct answers? And how might that change how you approach the next big decision or challenge that comes your way? Something to definitely mull over.